Hello, welcome to another, not update, but very transition related video. My voice sounds really deep right now. I went to karaoke last night, and I think I shot my voice out a little bit, so, it has gotten deeper since my last video, but it's not actually this deep. Sorry, I got a text. Anyways, I am 3 full days away from having top surgery. And I wanted to make a video just kind of talking about my thoughts pre-surgery, because I think videos from people who are definitely having top surgery, like just before they have it, are a rare beast, and they're very precious to me. They were very helpful for me, especially Chase Ross's videos. He's got a whole playlist of like his top surgery procedure, and a lot of the earlier ones are some of his anxieties and doubts about top surgery. He's just so open about the fact that like he has anxiety, and here are his fears and his doubts about top surgery, but also like top surgery is still the right decision, and despite all of those fears and doubts, he's not going to postpone it. And I think that is such an important thing. To not have any doubts or fears before a surgery, that would actually be weird, and in fact would probably mean that you haven't been thinking it through enough, or that there's some other problem. Like, it is very, very natural to have some fears and some doubts before a surgery, especially one that's like technically an elected surgery. Like you are electing to have it, even though like it's not really an elected thing. I did not choose to be trans, and this is part of helping to live a happy, fulfilled life. So like I said, it's normal and probably healthy to be having doubts and feeling anxiety going into a major surgery, and I definitely am. Mostly like late at night, you know, as I'm trying to fall asleep is when I'll be like, what am I doing? Why am I gonna go have this huge thing? I can't believe I'm choosing to do this thing. Those thoughts usually don't come during the daytime, and whenever I try to rationalize them and be like, wait, like what am I actually scared of? It's a little harder to pin down. Am I scared of regretting the decision? And so then I get into all of the reasons of like, why do I know that this is right for me? I've been binding for over 5 years now, which means I'm in physical pain most days. You know, I can't breathe as well. And it's like, well, just stop binding. I would love if that were an option. Not only can I not leave my house without binding, I usually can't even sit home alone just with myself and not be binding. I hate having to go to bed without a binder on. I still go to bed with a binder on anytime I have to crash with other people, which is a lot because of the nature of my job and my life, and that is not healthy. I already have back problems. They're just getting worse. And like, not to get too TMI, but obviously that's like a erogenous zone. And so just because like I am a physical human being, I can feel that sometimes, but it makes me sick to my stomach when I feel that. This is not a pleasant part of the body for me, as much as I wish it were. I can't just not bind and be happy with that part of my body. I never have been happy with that part of my body. You know, when I first learned that breast reductions existed, I remember telling my mom, like, I want that. And I had barely started developing anything at the time when I was telling her that I needed a reduction. And when I did actually grow things there, I was constantly trying to find ways to bind them actually before I knew what binding was. And without even realizing it, like I didn't realize I was doing it until people pointed it out to me, I totally was always kind of hiding them. I never dressed in a way that was showing them off or making them any part of my outfit. I was never anyone who ever showed like cleavage or anything like that. You know, and I'm talking about even the periods of my life when I was in the utmost repressed, trying to be super feminine phases of my life. I was still like ignoring that part of my body existed and uncomfortable with it and trying to find ways to have a flat chest. So like even in some world where I detransitioned and wanted to lead my life being read as female again, which I can't imagine happening, but hey, life happens. Let's say it did in some universe. I would still be happy having a flat chest. Chase says something in one of his videos where he's like, well, am I really dysphoric about my chest? Yes, if I always want it to be flat, yes, I am dysphoric about it. One thing that helped me when I was trying to decide if I should go on T that definitely applies here and might help a lot of you, so I'll say it again. Imagine that you're on a desert island all alone. Or even better, imagine that like whatever physical part of transition you're considering, imagine that you got it, but you were the only one in the world who could see it. No one else could see the changes. Would you still want it? And if the answer is yes, then you're probably going in the right direction. And the answer for me is absolutely 100% beyond a doubt, yes. And another thing that Chase has said that really resonated with me is like, so I've had this body my whole life, and it's very strange to think that in a couple of days, I won't have part of this body anymore. I've always had a perhaps irrational fear of losing a limb, and I am sort of electing to do that now. Even though it's a part of my body I've always felt uncomfortable with, it's just very, very bizarre to be thinking in those terms. One of the things that made me start to be okay with having top surgery was I just sort of changed my way of thinking. Instead of like the narrative, people are always like, oh, I'm chopping it off. Like they're always saying that about top surgery. And that always really bothered me. But when I started thinking of it more as kind of like liposuction, like just sucking out a little bit of like the fat and the breast tissue, then I felt okay with it. I was like, okay, this part of my body, my nipples, my skin, this area of my chest is still gonna be here. And when I'm wearing clothes, it'll look hardly any different. It's just gonna be a little bit flatter, less soft, a little bit thinner, but still gonna be here. And that made me feel so much better. That type of language and that narrative, like, oh, the power of language once again. And so I'm still like keep trying to remind myself of that rather than thinking like, this part of my body is gonna be gone. Like it's not gonna be gone. A little bit of the insides will be slimmed down, but still here. My body is still here. You know, I've been reading a lot about like post-op blues and how anesthesia is a depressor, so I'm preparing myself to maybe feel pangs of regret or fall into a bit of a depression after surgery. And one thing that I read on a great blog that I'll link to in the description box is like, it took years to grow that part of my body. It took my whole life up until, I don't know, like age 16 to grow to the height that I am. Changes usually take a long time, so every part of your body, your mind, your nerve endings, they all have time to adjust and grow with it. And so when you go in for a surgery like this, in a matter of an hour, your body is totally changed. And for you, because you're under anesthesia, it's literally you go to sleep and you wake up and a part of your body is gone. So your brain needs time to catch up to that. Like it is actually a traumatic experience. So it makes complete like biological sense why you would have depression after a surgery like that. So like currently, I am experiencing anxiety because I know I'm going to be more anxious and more depressed soon. And the other thing I'm feeling is that it just doesn't feel real. Like I keep thinking about, okay, I am about to join this tribe of people who I have observed for years who have had top surgery. I'm about to be one of them. And because it's just something that's been this dream in my head for so long, it is very difficult for me to understand that it's about to be reality. To quote Chase again, I've been binging on his videos, but to quote him again, he said like when something that you've waited for so long to happen finally happens, it doesn't feel like it's happening to you. That's exactly how it feels. And I had that exact feeling when I got my first T-shot, where I like think I go almost numb. It's a combination of that, and it's a combination because usually when something like this is happening, I've been stressed out having to like do everything that I need to do leading up to it, and then like that's done and I'm like, wait, what? I'm just glad to have checked everything off the list. But also it's something that I'd been dreaming about for so long, and then it's happening, and so then I'm just like you're not even sure that you're happy because it just seems so strange and surreal. I'm reminded of John Green's keynote from NerdCon Stories. The idea that your brain is a part of your body and your body is not necessarily you. You know, whether you believe in souls or whatever, your body is not necessarily you, which I think is especially something that helps trans people to think of. As John even said, it's a prison that we are inside of, and our brain is a part of that. And while some of our thoughts are ourselves and we identify with those, some of the thoughts are not ourselves, and sometimes we can't control those thoughts. And it helps me to think of anxiety in that way, that like, I know myself, I know what I need. These thoughts of doubt and fears that are floating past my mind, those aren't the part of my brain that's me. Those are the part of brain that's trying to trick me, but it's not true. And so my therapist actually had a really good suggestion. He told me to write a letter to myself, like now, like I'll probably write it today, that I can read after surgery. That just kind of reminds me like, here are the reasons why you chose to do this, and if you're feeling down, here is what you should do, and just kind of whatever I think might calm myself in the future. I don't know yet if that has worked, but it's making me feel better now. There's a lot more thoughts on my past and stuff in my zine. So if you've donated for my zine, I swear it's on its way. I really wanted to get it sent out to everyone before my surgery. Realistically, I don't know if that's gonna happen, which I feel very bad about. I was trying really hard to finish that all today, and it's not gonna happen. I wanna make sure I deliver the best product to people. Apologies if you've been waiting on it for a long time. I guess the other thing is to envision the future. I can't wait to go swimming. I can't wait to go to bed every day and not have to take a shirt off so I can get out of my binder and then put a shirt back on. I could just fall asleep in my clothes if I wanted to. I haven't been able to do that since I was 11. If it's super hot over the summer, I can just take off my shirt. It'll be amazing. And I know like I could do all of these things before, and I am totally pro people with breasts being allowed to just have breasts out in public. But because that's not a part of my body I identify with, it was very dysphoric for me to ever do that. I'm just so excited to be able to be in the men's locker room and feel more comfortable, to be able to breathe better when I work out. Just so many millions of things that I absolutely can't wait for. I'm gonna finally feel like my top half of my body is me and how I felt it should always look. I can wear V-neck shirts and tank tops. It's gonna be amazing. I can wear white shirts. Oh, I've got so many white shirts I'm excited to wear. And it's gonna be a tough couple of weeks, couple of months, and I am kind of scared of all of that, but it's gonna be worth it. I hope this was helpful to anyone, you know, at some point. I know how helpful it's been for me to watch other people just kind of talk through their feelings on this. I think it helped me a little bit. My stomach is just a big slinky of nerves right now. Things will be okay. Things will be okay.